Okay, we are live. Hello, friends. I'm Elisa, and today I am with...
Rafael di Furia. Hello there, everybody. And
Exactly,
hello,
buddy.
Elisa.
How's it going, my friend? How's it going? So, we are having an English live stream today. My friends, usually we do this in Italian, but we are having a special day. We are having an English day. So, I'm going to do my best to slightly reduce the speed of my speech so that it's not as ridiculously quick as it usually is. And hopefully everyone understands. So, today we are with, as I said, Rafael di Furia. I mean, wait, this way.
Which
Who is
way?
a friend of mine. Yeah. Who is a friend of mine who we have known each other for like
Years.
like 3 or 4 years or something.
I think short of 5. Because it was
Really?
not that long after I moved to Italy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe like
crazy.
4-ish. 4-ish, yeah. It's
Because
unbelievable.
yeah, you were the first you and Elisa from Roman Side are the
Right,
first
right.
YouTube related friends I made. So, yeah, which
We
is
had our little
crazy because
trio.
yeah, we had our little trio and we used to always talk about stuff and it was great. And so I did do collabs with Elisa because I go to Rome pretty often, but with you, you lived elsewhere, so it was never as
Right.
convenient um as being in Rome because I'd always have to go to Rome to go to Canada. So the point is, even though we are not together in person, um we're together on the internet.
Finally, about time. I mean,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
look, I'll admit it was partially me because I really do have the preference for like in-person
No, me too.
collaboration
Me
and
too.
doing it online. It's not like quite the same. There's a little bit of delay,
Mhm.
but then also even because like right before the world changed, I'm not gonna because it's
Oh
YouTube. We'll
God.
be careful about
No,
the
we're not
all
allowed to
the
talk
yeah,
about
no,
that.
I'm not even gonna go there. But but
Let's not.
before things changed, I had just moved like actually not too far from you, and we were like starting to think about maybe how can something happen, and then bam, life happens.
I know. I was thinking the same thing because when you moved closer to me
Yeah,
after, and
yeah,
I didn't say. I don't even think I said anything to you, but in my head I
you
was like,
did.
oh,
No,
he's
we
moving
definitely talked.
closer. We did okay
Yeah, yeah,
because I
yeah,
was thinking like, oh, you're closer now. Good, that'll be easier because
yeah.
it's a
No, we
shorter
were talking
distance.
about like because I remember we had a discussion about like I don't know if it was either to meet in Ravenna or say like you said you guys would pick me up at the train station. It's something I forget. We had like a minimal discussion about
Yeah.
trying to figure something out, and I was like, okay, let's see what we can make happen.
Well,
Never did.
you guys, at the end of the day, we made it sort of. We didn't do
Yeah.
it in person. We will do something in person one day, but at least we're here virtually to have a conversation, to chat. Hello, my friends. Hello, Pietro. Hello, Scott. Hello, Elandril. Hello, bella prof. Sei bravissima, grazie. And hello, Striker. I don't know how to say your name. I am so sorry, but hello. How are you guys doing today? I hope that you guys enjoy this chat. So, today we are going to be talking about, well, whatever we feel like talking about, but we are going to be talking about living in Europe. We're going to be talking about who he is. A lot of you might not know him because he's not exactly in the language universe. You're more in the like living in
Yeah,
Europe
expat,
universe.
living abroad, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Italian citizenship. If you look up Italian dual citizenship, you're eventually going to find me somewhere.
Oh yeah. So we're in kind of overlapping worlds, but it's not like people who know Davide from Podcast Italiano and like all these, they might not necessarily know you. Although I know that a lot of
Right.
people know you.
Some, yeah. I
So
mean, depends. I've
tell
I've been
me,
stopped in the street.
have you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's so cool. So tell my audience about who you are and about your channel
Wow.
and all that stuff.
Well, quite an honor to be able to be here and to talk to you and to talk to you, your audience and everybody here. Well, I guess where do I
Yay.
start? My name is Rafael Di Furia. That's the simple part. You can see it on the screen right there.
Yeah,
Shocker.
people are gonna want to know
Just
what your
about
background is, I'm sure.
Yeah, no. So I'm originally from the U.S., grew up there, and then left quite a while ago, almost 13 years ago, and had spent time in a number of different countries. And when I was, say, let's rewind a little, when I was about 12 or so, I'd found out about the possibility to get Italian citizenship through my ancestry. So I had gone through that whole thing, and as a rambunctious 12-year-old, started going through researching. It didn't take much to get my family involved and interested in it, because already way before that, there had been talks about potentially moving to Europe anyway. But because Italy is Italy and bureaucracy is a thing, and you have to have all of your I's crossed and your T's dotted. And yes, I did mean specifically that, because sometimes things don't quite go exactly how you want them to.
We're going to watch the playback, and I'm going to look at my face, and I'm just going to see the loading screen. I was like, wait a second.
No, I specifically mean that. It ended up being a 14-year process, which should have been a year, maybe maximum 2 years. Ended up taking me 14 years. And then
that's insane.
Yeah, no, it was absurd. It was ridiculous, but I'm so grateful it finished. And so I got my Italian citizenship, got the phone call from the consulate. Normally people just get an email. I got a personal phone call saying, hey, yeah, you can come in tomorrow. Don't worry about it. You can request your passport and make things happen. And so it ended up being the perfect time in my life, because I was kind of in this place where I was thinking, yeah, maybe I could go one direction or the other direction. And I really wanted to get to Italy. I was fed up with waiting. It had been 14 years. So I closed down my business, shut up everything, left a ton of things behind, sold what I could, hopped on a plane, and was living in Italy, or rather Alto Adige, which, if you want to call that Italy, it's Italy. It's in the boundaries of Italy.
It's not true Italy.
I ended up there like less than a month, or just about a month later. It was kind of this crazy whirlwind of a time to finally make my dream reality.
Oh my goodness. And actually, why did you want to move to Italy?
Yeah, so, well, the thing was, for me growing up, like I had mentioned, living in Europe, or especially like really living in Italy, just seemed like the natural progression of things. So it wasn't really a question about when or if. It was just like, it's going to happen. But then also, like, growing up, a huge influence on my life was my grandfather. He was basically my father figure growing up. And so that's the Italian connection there, like through his family. And so, like, you could say I was brainwashed and had no choice.
Oh my God.
But no, really, it was awesome. Like, my grandfather told me all of these different stories about like where our family was from, and like how at one point the water was so bad where they were from, even the children had to drink wine, and this and that and the other, like all these kinds of different things that, like, it made it feel real. But instead of living through his stories, I wanted to have my own experiences in Italy and have the ability to see what it is today. And then, of course, you get to Italy and, whoa, things are not exactly what they were 100 years ago.
Oh my gosh. I know we have this kind of idea of old Italy.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, well, even like some of the people who come over now still project some of that old world Italy that we think of. And then also the idea of Italy that we have in North America is not necessarily what you find, because that's based on Southern Italy 100 years ago. And in the North, things can be just a little different, just a little.
Just a tad. Yeah. But I mean, yeah. Okay, so tell us about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so my YouTube channel. It is my name, Rafael di Furia, not your average globetrotter. It's a lot of the content that I do on there is talking about life abroad, living abroad. Originally, there was more intentions for travel videos, but then, of course, the events of 2020 and thereafter happened. So some of that kind of got a little changed, but getting back into that a little bit. So it really is come into the form of being a video podcast, talking about life abroad, living abroad, but not necessarily what you hear about in so many expat videos where everything's just like fluffy rainbows and clouds and butterflies and unicorns. I like to focus on reality. and to be able to enjoy the wonderful things, like as you've heard me probably say a few times, talking about the wonderful things like the pizza, the pasta mi amore, like the kind of the joke that I have about these are the things that end up initially attracting somebody to the country. But in the end, you need to have more than just that. You need to understand how life works, how taxes work, how differently the people live, and culturally the differences. And the smallest little things can end up being some of the biggest differences that make the biggest impact on what your life is like. So while my content has, for the past like 4-ish years, been mostly Italy focused, a lot of it is relevant to if you are wanting to move to Italy, if you're wanting to move to a different country, if you're wanting to move to America, even to an extent, to have an understanding that life abroad is not necessarily what we always think it might be. The grass always looks greener. I mean, even when you're comparing like Southern European countries, I've had, because in December, as you know, I actually had to move from Italy to Portugal for family reasons. And there have been some people who've contacted me and they say, oh, well, isn't it basically just the same? It's Southern Europe. They speak a similar language. It's like, no, they're
It's not the
very
same.
different.
How?
Like, no, I'm serious. Like, or even
I
like
mean,
somebody
it's-
left a comment recently saying like, oh, but isn't Spain much more culturally similar in the same language? I'm like, no.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
That was my reaction.
it's the same if you're comparing the difference between Italy and Spain and like the US and Japan, or like India. Like, okay,
Right.
in that sense you could say it's the same because it's the most similar culture you can find, but by no means the same.
No,
I would
no.
say. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so your channel evolved over time, and you've talked. I mean, I don't even know how we started talking. Like, one of us probably commented on the other person's video or
I
something. I don't
I think
know.
I think I commented on your video, and then somehow we got in contact on Instagram, and you said, "Oh, I've seen your videos," and so we ended up just kind of, it was very kind of
It
natural
just
and
happened.
flowed. Yeah,
Yeah. Because you were making you've made a lot of videos on Italian citizenship and stuff,
yeah,
and that was something that I was looking into, so I was like,
right.
"Help." So yeah. Yeah. Enzo, thank you so much for that donation. That is so kind of you. Enzo, thank you so much. How Oh, wait, there are cheers? What the heck? What is this feature?
I've got a soundboard.
You're amazing. Oh my god. How does COVID complicate just visiting?
Eh,
Like, what do you mean? Like traveling? Like, how is it currently complicating traveling?
I would assume he's meaning like traveling to Italy, and yeah, life in Italy isn't exactly as it was. I'll say that much. Just
Yeah. It's the thing is we can't really talk about that stuff because then if we
it's tricky.
accidentally slip out a certain like sentence that is not desirable by the YouTube gods, then we will be forever banished and exiled. So, um yeah. So Elandro says, you said your channel is not only about Italy but Europe. What other countries have you visited? What kind of troubles have you faced?
Oh, actually, the biggest troubles that I've faced have been from the YouTube channel. Actually,
Oh,
I've been
really?
stalked. I've had people show up at my
Oh
house. Like
my
I've had all kind of
No
crazy things happen.
way.
Yeah, even
Really?
I've been assaulted on the street. I mean, and you know, I make very vanilla content. Like it's nothing
Oh my
big,
god,
but
your
yeah,
content is so niche. It's like, here's
yeah.
some information if you want informative things. And it's like, you're like, that's so weird. What the
Yeah.
heck?
I've had death threats. I mean, again, like if I were to start saying the words for
Oh my
what the
god.
reasons are, I mean, because like it was people who misunderstood the situation or misunderstood what I was talking about, like whatever. Anyway,
Oh my god.
I'd be happy to talk about it. It's not a problem at all. It's just the YouTube, the whole whatever. Anyway, but
The
no, so
YouTube gods. If we say the wrong words, they'll demonetize.
yeah, no, but
Um,
just to answer that question though, I've been through a good portion of Europe. And mostly it's Italy focused, but it's also like about expat, just being a expat in general, living abroad.
yeah. Sorry, I'm still stuck on the on the assaulted thing and the stalking
Yeah,
thing. Sorry, that's crazy. Because like
yeah.
Now, knock on wood, but nothing of the sort has happened. I mean, I've had people ask me like on Instagram, "Hey, can I meet you in person?" But that was a question, and I was like, "No." So that was the end of that. You know what I mean? I haven't had anything crazy happen,
Mm.
so that sucks, man.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Okay, if I remember correctly, if you want to get in Italy, you've got to. Sorry, guys, my screen is broken, so I have to. You've got to wait a couple of weeks at a hotel before. In Italy, no, I mean that's in Australia.
Well, it
Um,
depends on. I think it depends on how
I
you
think,
enter the country. I
yeah,
don't know because the rules in Italy change so much. But I know
yeah.
at one point to get in, you had to have the certificate or the Jabaroo. And so
Oh
the
man,
certification of either the testing or one or the other. And then for
yes.
doing a lot of
The
things now in
opposite of
Italy.
red certification.
Yes. The multi-pass.
Oh my gosh.
And then
Yeah,
but then
we
even
have
like,
to.
sorry, go
Sorry.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we have to avoid this topic because it's too hard to
Yeah,
talk
it's
about.
tricky.
Oh my
But I mean,
gosh.
in
Okay.
Italy now, you guys need it for a lot, like even going to stores and things like that, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's get. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna. Yeah, let's go. Let's move on because
Yeah, that's a tricky subject, but it's like
it's.
almost impossible to avoid these days.
I know. I know. I hate that it's like.
Yeah. No, my
I
channel
just
was
hate.
buried for a little while because of that subject. Like
Yeah.
during like talking about it, like for a while, I was one of the only people giving any updates about it, just period, on YouTube. But
Yeah.
then, especially in English, like going through, talking about the rules, talking about what the situation was, what was going on. And so that was something that I was doing
Yeah.
for a while. But yeah, that was it definitely hurt the channel.
It's too hard. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. So,
Yeah.
did Rafael know Italian before he came over? How well? If not, what was his experience learning Italian in Italy?
Yeah, so I knew a little bit. I knew the way I put it is I knew enough to get in trouble, just enough to get around to get in trouble, have a little fun, but not really for conversation. That was something that I got a little bit better at. My Italian, I would not say is fantastic in any way, but I can speak some and have some conversation. Just depends on the topic and the subject matter. It's I'll say it's a tricky thing to it's a tricky language, but especially for me, like I have a little bit of Portuguese and a little bit of Spanish under my belt, so there are times when I might accidentally insert one word or another, or the one thing that's always the most difficult for me to always get straight in and keeping it similar, but or keeping it straight between the languages, is the word
Yeah.
for and, especially when I'm going between Portuguese and Italian, because
What is it in
and
Portuguese?
it's e.
Oh, so it's like Spanish.
Yeah, it's like Spanish,
Oh, but it's so
but
similar. That's so annoying.
in Italian,
Yeah.
but in Portuguese, means is. So I often will
Oh
change
no.
e for or for e.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh
it's
my God. Yeah, that's a pain. That's a pain.
yeah,
Whenever I have students that that also speak Spanish, that E slips out a lot.
yeah.
Because
Well,
the thing is, it's not like an English where it's and it's a three-letter word. Like it's both
right.
just a vowel and they're
It's the
not that
pronunciation.
different.
It's just a
So
slight
yeah.
difference, especially if you're coming
Yeah.
from, or even, well, the thing is, what's also difficult for me, like I did take some lessons when I was in Italy, some group lessons, but a lot of the people that were in my class were Spanish or Portuguese speakers. So the
Mm,
problem is everybody was mixing their languages and I understood everything perfectly, but I didn't get what language anybody was speaking because like if a Portuguese person was speaking in Italian, but speaking Portuguese with an Italian accent, fine,
yeah.
not a problem. Or same thing with
Yeah.
Spanish. So I didn't improve my I didn't improve my Italian in any of those classes just because it was like it was pointless to be there because like yes, I can understand a good portion of Italian anyway, but
Yeah.
if you're going to mix all these other languages in there, just it's going to go over my head because I'm going to understand everybody, but I'm not going to tell which language is which.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a very different language journey because for me,
Yeah.
I learned Italian not even knowing what was gonna happen. Like I just learned it because I wanted to kind of be more connected with my family's culture and stuff, and it just happened. Like, I never even knew I was capable of being bilingual. I just
Yeah.
went with it, and I took 3 years of university courses, so I was in university anyway. I was
All right.
focused on that, whereas for you, you were here and well, I think you learned some before, but, you were working and busy and finding the right course, the right teacher, the right this, the right that.
Yeah.
It's
It
just it
was
was more
impossible for me.
complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was it. Almost didn't even happen just because, or that's why part of why my Italian's so bad is because I couldn't find a good course. I couldn't find a teacher that worked for me, and
Aw.
also like the time because I just didn't have so much time to devote to it. So also anyway for me, I learn best when I'm just thrown into a language when I can just learn
Yeah.
some basic phrases. I was kind of telling you about this the other day, like
Yeah.
that if I learn certain parts of a language and I'm just on the street or going into stores or whatever, then I can start to pick up more of it. And if I can
Mhm.
hear it and whatever, it's this whole way. It's not logical, but somehow it works for me, and it's worked in a few different languages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Makes sense, makes sense. Yeah, very, very different language journey indeed. Because for
Hmm.
me, like, when I came here, I was already advanced. Like, I
Right.
had already done all the work, and it was just like, "Let's perfect it," you know? And so I was at a point where I didn't need to go out of my way to try anymore. So, I was
Right.
busy doing stuff, but I didn't need to do that trying phase. It was kind of just like, use the language and let it sort itself out more or less, so,
But
yeah.
did you have any difficulty when switching from like that collegiate, like learning Italian from a book to actually going to Italy and hearing people speak? Because my experience is that book Italian is very different than what you end up hearing just in day to day life.
Well, I mean, I kind of got over that phase. Sorry if I'm touching my neck a lot, but my body has decided to give me a headache and it's coming from my neck.
Oh,
So if you see me doing this, that's why. But what was I gonna say? It's such a bad time to get brain fog, always during live streams. Oh my god.
this is why I
Basically,
don't usually do live.
oh my gosh. Basically in 2016 when I had finished university and I was really excited about learning Italian and stuff, and I downloaded HelloTalk and I started talking to people.
Mhm,
Talking to them is when I got used to the spoken Italian. So
mhm,
it happened before I came here. It happened over a year before I moved here. Because don't forget I moved to Australia first and then I lived with Fausto.
all right.
And so, you know, I perfected things mostly like with him and then also before I moved and stuff. So I that's what I mean. Like I kind of got all of the work out of the way before I moved here. So then when I moved here, I already more I mean, you guys can see in my How to Roll Your R's video in that room, that was in Australia. When the room changed, when the background changes, that's when I moved. And so you could see that my accent was already good. Now it's better, but it was already basically like his accent. So really all that happened was I improved and my
Mm.
accent improved and whatever. So that's the thing that's good for me is I as I said, I got everything out of the way early, which is
I get you.
which is nice. So I didn't have to um I wasn't trying to balance working and studying. Like it was just studying for me. So that
Ah,
certainly helped.
that's fantastic
Yeah.
that you had that opportunity to be able to do that. I
I
mean, then
know.
also having Fausto around, having a native speaker, that makes a big difference when you're like
Oh my
having
god.
that daily interaction, necessary interaction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's really important, and I'm really lucky because he helped me so much. Like he corrected me on everything, like
Oh,
the
wow.
differences between the um the 7 vowel sounds, you know?
Mm.
Um and
Oh, so
that
your
was
whole
really, really
YouTube
helpful.
channel you can blame on Mr. Fausto.
I mean, kind of. But
That's the
no,
secret
but
behind the channel.
no, no, it's great, it's great. So, I'm really, really happy about that. Okay. And so I just make up words. No! Okay.
Anch'io.
Scott says, "Anch'io, esatto." Rafael, I've watched several of your videos, but not a ton. What type of work did you do in Italy? Was it done in Italian or English? Did you have the same job the whole time?
So when I first arrived in Italy, my intention was to do the same thing I'd been doing before. I have a background in television and production and broadcast. And so my intention was to do that. But for years before, I had kept a TEFL certificate in my back pocket just in case. Thankfully, that came in handy. And I taught English like so many expats do when they first arrive. I can teach. It's not my favorite thing to do, but it's what I needed to do at the time. So that's what I got started with. But the main area that I work in is content creation, marketing, consultation work, and still production, video production, audio production. There's a lot of different hats that I end up wearing. And so I ended up somewhat working for myself, and I have different clients from around the world that I work with to be able to get by on a day-to-day basis. So it wasn't the same thing for the whole time, but it was kind of, I ended up picking up what I did before coming to Italy. And even with my current move now, that's been something that's continued that I've been able to do here.
Sounds good. In English or Italian, he was also asking. You did most of your work in English,
so most of my work is in English, but I do have some clients that I work with where we do go over laws in Italian, and we do research in Italian. I don't have to do so much of that anymore, but I have a pretty good understanding of the subject matter anyway. I mean, like I can read through it and get through some of these things. Like this is, again, like I was telling you the other day, like some of my Italian is very basic, and then some of it's like really oddly advanced for what it should be.
Oh my gosh. Okay, good. So, all right. What was I going to say? Let's talk about moving to Italy.
Yes.
So, or moving in Europe in general. Why would an American want to move to Italy? What's in it for us? That is the question that everyone wants to know.
This is the thing, though. So I'm sure you've had this plenty of times, but you're from Canada. You're from America. You're from here. We want to go there. Why would you come here?
Yeah, Canada's so perfect. America's so perfect. Wonderful. Why would you come here? Yeah.
Like, are you crazy? Perfect. Is there something wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, so that was the experience that I had. A lot of people are like, you're crazy for wanting to come here. But the thing is, America, in my opinion, is not necessarily what we see on TV or what we see in the movies. And this can often end up being what makes it attractive to so many different people. So what I would say is that for me, one of the real main attractions to Italy was that it does often have or can offer a slower pace of life. Not always, but it can. And the lifestyle, like a more laid back, more of a living to enjoy, not working to live, or not living to work, but working to live, to enjoy life, to enjoy the time that you have as much as possible. This is one of the reasons why I said also things have changed in Italy in these past couple of years, just because you don't have as much of that outdoorsiness, getting together with people like it was before. I mean, okay, it's granted it's coming back, but like you have the piazza is the public living room for everybody. Everybody goes there, hangs out until 3 o'clock in the morning. You've got children yelling, screaming, even until midnight or later. So yeah, it was just kind of the Italian lifestyle to slow down, relax. I'd been living in a city before, and before moving to Italy, and especially wanted to just have something out, just not having to have the hustle and bustle, and getting away from the grind a bit was, I needed some time off, and that's why I went to Alto Adige.
Yeah. No, that's something I like about the culture here. I mean, I don't know. Do we even have the concept of let's go for a walk? Like, let's hang out and go for a walk. Like that, is that a thing? Like, that's not a thing for us. It's like, if we're going to hang out, we're going to go to someplace specific, or your house or my house. Like, there's no that doesn't exist, you know? So I just found it so interesting that it's like, you'll hang out with friends here and you'll just go for a walk, and you just talk, and that's your outing. And that's, for me, something I find really attractive because I love talking. And it forces
Shocking.
me to
I don't believe
I
you
know,
for a second.
I know, right? And it helps me to get off my butt and not sit down all day in front of the computer.
Mm,
And yeah, it's just like people are more calm, you know? I mean, I'm from Ottawa, and Ottawa is not necessarily the most like it's not New York, you know? It's a big city, but it doesn't feel like a huge city, so
mm.
it wasn't necessarily to get away from that or anything, but I don't know. I mean, for me, I just felt this magnetism towards Italy. Okay, I need to address this comment because people will not stop saying this, and I don't know what to say. It's funny to see how Elisa is developing an Italian accent when she speaks English. What are
There's a
you
slight
guys talking about?
there's a slight inflection. There's a slight inflection.
How?
It happens. No, but the
How?
thing is, the longer that you spend abroad, it's not uncommon for people who are not in their native language to develop an accent. I mean, I know even the way that I speak English is not the same way that I used to speak English. I've changed
I
the
respectfully
grammar order,
disagree.
and I think there's a little something there. A little.
Dude, I'm Canadian. I don't sound like you because I'm Canadian.
Okay, you want a cookie for that or something?
I just
No,
feel
but
like
no, it's
people.
not. No, I would say it's not even like a normal Canadian accent either. But granted, I'm more accustomed to people from BC, so that like because I grew up not so far from the border. Like so, even actually when I'm talking, a lot of people don't think I'm American. A lot of people end up thinking I'm Canadian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but because I don't got that A.
Yeah, I don't do the A thing either.
I've heard you say it once or twice.
I've never said A in my life. Ever. I say
I'm
huh.
sure I've heard you at least once or twice. Not on stream though.
I swear to God, it is not in my existence to say A. I promise you.
Okay, fine. We'll go with
This
that.
comment angered me. I'm
Which one?
Oh my gosh. The one I just said, the one about me
Oh,
having
with
an
that.
Italian accent when I speak in English. Respectfully disagree, but okay. You guys can think what you want. All right. So, you see, Scott said he hasn't noticed that.
Hmm.
So he's on my side. Just saying. You guys, the live started half an hour ago. I see that there were a couple of people asking that. Okay. So good. Why do people want Italian citizenship? That's another question.
Ooh, that's a deep subject right there. Why people want Italian citizenship? So there are different reasons. I wanted it
Mhm.
so that I could practically live and see Italy and experience it. It was also the connection for me. But there are a lot of people who only want it for the connection and for the emotional tie, and they never
Yeah.
do anything with it. They never travel to Italy, nothing. But there are some people who want it for the emotional tie, and then they want it so it solidifies the claim for their descendants. Like there are a lot of older people who are getting it so that their children and grandchildren and so on have an easier time.
Mhm.
There are some people who do get it so that they can live in the European Union or work in the European Union because as an Italian, you have access. It's very easy. I mean, even with my recent move to Portugal, basically it was like almost easier than taking care of residency, or just as easy as taking care of residency in Italy. Like I showed up. Actually, no, it was easier because I took care of most of it by email here in Italy. I
Wow.
didn't have that experience so much for the most part. But yeah, no, I just said, hey, I'm here. Where's my certificate?
Wow.
I had to submit some more documents than just the saying, hey, I'm here. But in
Yeah,
essence,
yeah, yeah.
it's pretty much that.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of freedom.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's interesting. I mean, that was also one of the reasons why I moved to Alto Adige, because I was thinking, well, okay, if I'm here in Italy, that's at least getting me in the right country. And having
Yeah.
access to Austria and Germany, yeah, I could legally go and work in these places and come back home and not have that big of a problem.
Mhm.
So that was a thing that was really nice to be able to have. And actually, with this move, I wouldn't have that I just recently did. It wouldn't have been possible because I mean, I could have actually done it anyway, but the process for coming here would have been much different. For applying to be here, having to go through all the legal hoops for visas and this and that and the other. I mean, it makes realistically a huge difference when trying to make a life in Europe, and especially when you're going to Italy, because a lot of doors open up. Not that everything is easy, but getting like a bank account or getting just basic things taken care of, it's just kind of, you show up and you show up maybe once or twice and then things happen. I mean, even getting signed up for healthcare in Italy, like that, I mean, that's huge. So there are people who also are wanting to get Italian citizenship simply because of the healthcare benefits. I mean, just imagine like in the States, like the huge medical bills that are out there. But then you come to Italy and a doctor's visit just to your regular GP is nothing. I mean, the first time that I found that out, I said to the guy, I was like, wait, are you sure? Like, I don't have to pay you anything? He's like, no. Do I have to pay you later? He's like, no, it doesn't cost anything. Wait, am I going to get charged like in 30 days from now? No, you don't pay anything. He thought, and then eventually he thought I was trying to bribe him. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to bribe you.
Funny. Oh my God.
Because I was shocked that it wasn't costing anything. And then there were a couple times I had to go to the emergency room for like a couple injuries. Like one time I burned my hand, and for going there for the medicine, for talking to the doctor and this and that. 15 euros. There was another time I had a back injury, and they did like x-rays, and they offered pain medication and this and that and the other. 15 euros. I mean, this in America would have been thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. So I'm grateful that I had the access to that. I wish I had never needed it, but it wasn't the reason for me why I moved there, but it ended up being something that ended up being a huge bonus in essence.
Wow. I mean, for me, I'm kind of used to that because, you know, it's similar in Canada.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing, because I've always had a horrible time with it, because, you know, it being free kind of translates to, we don't care, figure it out yourself, or wait 16 hours in the emergency room or whatever. So I'm not necessarily, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the Canadian system. But anyway.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, I think it's a good argument that you make there, that there are benefits to both a private and a public system. But at the end of the day, I'm definitely grateful to have access to a public system rather than no access to nothing.
No, having just spent thousands of dollars for literally nothing is like absurd.
Just for them to walk in the room and say, hi, how are you doing?
Sometimes. I had to see a specialist once here in Italy, but that was private. And I spent like I can't remember how much it was, but it was like 300 or 400 euros for him to say, yeah, you're fine. And I was like, okay, thanks. So I know how it feels to spend a lot of money on nothing. So that's still in Italy. Like, you could end up spending much more than that in the States. Oh yeah. My God. Never again. Never again. Okay, so sono interessato alle aspettative degli americani che vengono in Italia. Davvero penso a un paese di 100 anni fa e a che cosa in particolare, scene tipo Padrino. So I'll just translate in English for anyone who doesn't understand that. I'm interested in the expectations that Americans have when they come to Italy. Do they really think that it's the old Italy from 100 years ago? And what are their expectations exactly? Do they think of the Godfather, for example?
Mm-hmm. Ma è difficile per dire, ma sempre gli americani pensano che l'Italia è uguale con il Padrino. No, like everybody thinks it's like, oh, you have to go to the guy to get the permission to do the thing with the this and the that. Granted, look, there are some parts of Italy where there are things that work in a extra legal manner, but I mean, the idea that Americans have is definitely from the movies, and it's really horrible in some ways to see how poorly Italy has been represented in public media, because there's been so many times where even like I've had people say, oh, you're Italian, your family must be in the mafia or babidi boopy, like the all the little things, and it's like, no, like that's, I mean,
the thing is, my family's from, because I'm half Italian by
Right.
blood, and my Italian side is from Sicily.
Right.
So that's the first thing. It's like, oh,
They just
mafia.
make that assumption. But again, this comes from a poor representation of Italians and Sicilians in media. It's really unfortunate. And I mean, especially when you start looking into the reality of these things, it's really
Mhm.
horrifying that this is glorified in so many ways. I mean,
Yeah,
granted, I
yeah.
will also say that in the United States, 100 years ago, some of these organizations did try to protect their local communities, and there was a different aspect to it than just crime because they didn't have protection from some of the police around. This gets into a much more difficult conversation, which is probably not the best for today, but like realistically speaking, there is an unfortunate viewing of what Italy is, and people don't understand how diverse Italy is because there's so many people that'll come
Yeah.
to like Venice and it's like, oh, where can I get my cannoli? It's like, well, firstly, cannoli, unless you want a pile of them, that's fine. But you do you, boo. But you don't go to Venice for a cannolo. You go to Sicily for cannolo. Or
Yeah.
if you want like, what's another example? If you want a steak, you go to Florence. Like you get the bistecca or whatever the Fiorentina, whatever it's called, the huge one.
Wait. Oh, okay. I don't
You
know.
know the one, the big one, the T-bone steak.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what we call it in
Anyway.
English. I can't think of it in Italian, but anyway. Or like even that everywhere eats pasta a certain way, or even that chicken exists on pasta, like that they would never be, or the meatballs, like
Fiorentina.
Fiorentina. Thank you,
Yeah.
Bella Prof. Um, it's the Italy is a very diverse country. I mean,
Yeah.
especially because we saw it was only unified in 1861. And even after that, people have held on to their local identities very
Yeah.
much so. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying that's a bad thing. I think it's actually fantastic. And it adds
Yeah.
a level of interest to discover in
Yeah.
Italy that most people don't even realize is there because they just think, oh, we go to Italy, we get the same things that we get at the
Yeah.
Olive Garden.
Oh my god. I mean, that's one of the things I actually like the most about Italy. The fact that I don't know, the fact that every place has its own special thing.
Yeah.
Like, it has its own special dish and
Yeah.
special dialect and accent, and even, from Fano to Pesaro, there's a different accent there, and even
Yeah.
within Fano, there are different accents. It's just it's crazy to me, and that's one of the things that I actually enjoy the most about it. So, yeah, it is a shame that more people don't know how incredibly diverse Italy is,
Yeah.
because it's so interesting.
And it's not
It's
only
so interesting, for
culturally
example,
diverse.
that yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I was interrupting you.
No, 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 go, go,
No, please, please.
go.
Okay, fine.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm the Canadian. It's my job to be stupidly, overly, annoyingly polite, okay? If
Hey,
we do it back and forth, it's never gonna end.
you forget I grew up close to the border. No,
This
okay,
is
so I'll be
true.
the rude American here. I'll finish
Okay,
that thought.
go be
But no,
rude.
like it's what you were saying also about I forget what I was going to say, but what you were saying about the dialects, that's a huge
Yeah.
one. People think you learn
Mhm.
Italian, you go to Italy and you speak Italian. No, 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 no. You come to Italy, nobody speaks Italian. At least
Well, I
depending
mean, it
on where you are.
depends. Well, I
It
think because
depends.
where you live, because when maybe for
Most
you
of the
it's usually a
place,
bit more. Because here, I
well,
don't know.
granted, I
I
also
mean,
more live in small towns, and I mean,
yeah,
I spent a lot of time in Milan, but even in Milan, I heard a lot of people speaking in dialect, or even like
yeah,
Rome, for example. But like where I lived,
yeah,
you have like in say Rovigo, like you have the Rovigotto, like the Polesine version of the Veneto dialect. And
mm,
then you go to other parts of the Veneto and they start speaking differently. They have a slightly different accent, or even
yeah, yeah, yeah,
the way that the food is. Like where I was in Rovigo, you have a lot more protein, meat, like land animal protein. But like you get up to
yeah.
Venice and there's a different idea. Like it's more like fish. I mean, even I remember having a conversation with somebody who was born and raised in Venice. He was like, "Oh, you know these things, you get them." I mean, he was talking about mussels, and he's like, "Oh, you get them in the restaurant. They're so good. You have to have it in Rovigo. You're in the Veneto." I was like, "No, Rovigo is almost Emilia Romagna. Like we're just
Oh
over the
my
border." So
god.
there's that influence that once you go from one region to the other, there's the change. And the people also. We're not just talking about cultural diversity or linguistic diversity, but you have
Yeah.
people that look different. That I mean, the South, people look a certain way, even in certain
Yeah.
locations, and then in the North, you get people who are tall and blonde. Like it's
Yeah.
not unheard of, or red hair. Like even like my family, we have like an Italian odd genetic trait where some of us have some red in our hair, or like me, it came in my beard. My
Yep, I was
grandfather
just
had it.
gonna say, do you have the ginger beard?
Well, now it's
Oh my
well,
god.
okay, so now I'm gonna give my secret away. It's actually gone white, and I do dye my beard now, but I don't dye it
Oh,
red.
really? Oh my gosh, my
It
brother
was
has a
I'm
little bit
so
of the
mad.
ginger beard too.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I love the I always found that so weird, the partially ginger beard. Just like
yeah. And for me, it
why?
came
Like
in
I don't
like
know.
two streaks like this.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my
and a little
gosh.
bit in here, a little bit. But my grandfather had
Oh
it.
my gosh.
My uncle has it. Like the whole Italian line,
Yeah.
just yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, as I said, my background is Sicilian, so God knows if I'm even Italian. I could be
But that's the thing. Like in
like who knows?
southern Italy and Sicily, there were mixture of people.
Yeah.
There's Greek, there's North African, there's Italian. You have all these different peoples that came together and made the people that we know today.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I know my uncle did a DNA test. So I know that on my mom's side we are 100% like Phoenician, like Lebanese, like 100 or no, I think it's 99%. So it makes sense that I have this look, but then it makes me wonder. I'm like, what's the other side of me? Like, I wonder if there's some Greek in there, if there's some Spanish in there, if there's some who knows what there is in there. So that's I've always been very, very curious about that. But yeah, okay, good. I think we're done with that comment. Let's remove that. All right. Let's see. Let's see. My biggest fear would be that Italian American food would taste better than authentic Italian food.
I should
Don't
keep my
worry
mouth
about it,
closed
man.
on this one. I should really do that.
Well, I mean, look.
I mean, okay, so here's the thing. I love Italy. I love Italian food. I love especially
I've seen
Italian
your
pizza.
Instagram stories the past few days.
But I also love American style pizza. I like there's just something about it. And like for 5 years or almost 5 years in Italy, I was craving American style pizza just
Oh
because
my
it's so
god.
different. Like I'm not saying one is better than the other, but
No, no, I think to me it's like a different food almost. Like I consider it
yeah.
a different thing. I mean, for me personally, I've never really liked American pizza. I think it's just because I have trouble with things that are too greasy, like bother my stomach. So I
Mm,
think it's more like that I find it really greasy. Whereas
mm,
the pizza you get here usually, is much lighter. So
yeah.
I think it's more a question of that for me. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's a question of better. I think it's a
It's
question of
different.
it's different.
Yeah.
It's a different universe. It doesn't mean that it's not good. It's just not necessarily Italian.
Yeah, well, the thing is also
So
it's also about what ingredients are available and what
yeah,
the tastes are of the local population, because
yeah,
what works is what's going to be available and what's going to be possible. I mean, even for example, like here in Portugal, I found like a local Italian place, and it's actually Italian, owned, run by Italians, as far as I understand. And I went there to get like I was trying to get like I was in the mood for I want Italian pizza. I don't want American pizza. I
yeah,
want Italian pizza. And it
yeah,
was funny because it was kind of like this halfway point, not quite Italian pizza, not quite American
yeah,
pizza. It was like a perfect Italian, almost Neapolitan style crust, but then
yeah.
it had, I hate to say it this way, enough cheese, because that's the biggest thing for me in Italy. There's never enough cheese. And if I ask, hey, can you put like double cheese on there? They're like, are you sure? Are you you disgusting pig? How could? And then it comes with too much cheese. So it's like I never had the perfect balance. There's always way too much or way too little.
You have to ask for 1.5 cheese.
That's the trick. I never do it. I never did it because it was because It's like, can you just put a little extra on there? It's like, doppio. Okay, why not? But doppio was like triple.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Sei molto fanese in questo momento. Perché? Cosa ho fatto?
What's fanese? Like, what about her is fanese? I'm curious. Like, what is this
I'm
little?
very curious as well.
What sets
What
the
did
what
I
sets the fanese
do?
apart from everybody else?
Exactly. Sorry for correcting you, Rafael, but in southern Italy, there's nothing North African.
I'm
What do you
sorry, but I will
mean?
harshly disagree. Look at history.
Wasn't Sicily conquered by like everyone, basically? Like the
That's all I'm saying.
whole.
Just look at history. Like more in Sicily than southern Italy, but you do have some little bits and pieces.
Yeah. I'm really surprised by that because I thought that was like an agreed upon thing that everyone conquered Sicily. So there are influences from
I
everywhere.
mean, also it
Um,
depends. It depends on what he's defining as southern Italy, because some people do consider southern Italy and Sicily to be two separate things.
okay. Well, we were
I
saying
don't know.
Sicily specifically. Um, so yeah. Oh, there we go. Chicago style pizza. I'm Italian, but I love it. You see? Another blasphemer.
I'm gonna no, I'm gonna just argue against this one. That's blasphemy, because Chicago style pizza, that's like a quiche practically, or a pie. That's not a pizza.
Oh, is it like a thick thing?
I think there's a couple of different ways. I think there's like two main different ways, because I'll admit I'm really just joking about that. Nothing wrong with Chicago style, but there's one that's like super thick. I think more like sfincione, but with a lot of cheese on it. And then the other one is like super like cracker thin, as far as I understand. But I'm not an expert on Chicago style.
All of Italy was conquered by everyone. I mean, that's why there's so much freaking diversity.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
even like where I lived in northern Italy, the part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. I mean, you look at these different parts of the country, and they had all these different influences, even until recently.
yeah. Oh, here we go. The attitude, very laid back, and the accent influences as well, I guess. Well, of course, when I speak Italian, it's 100% modeled after my fiance. And
Just
I have to
nonchalant,
s
show the
I
ring.
have to say it like that because it feels so weird to not say boyfriend, but, like, anyway, that's a thing. So, um, and I mean, the more you hang out with someone, the more you act like them. So maybe his personality is rubbing off on me, which is great because I used to be anxious and I literally anxiety doesn't touch me now, which is great. So anyway, laid back is good. Okay. Let's see. In Palermo they make couscous. You
Yeah,
know that I've
sorry.
no, I was just gonna say I've basically never eaten it. 'Cause, yeah, I don't know why. I mean, my mom, because it's not really I think it's more so it's not Lebanese exactly, like, they have it there,
Well,
but I don't know, it's not something that my mom likes, so I never
uh,
had it at
I grew up
home.
on it. Like I grew up on
Yeah?
couscous. Yeah, my mother would
I
always
should
make
probably
it.
try it again.
It's so good. I mean, like,
Yeah,
there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. You can either do it like as a cold salad, or you can heat it up and have it with meat. I mean,
yeah,
delicious. I mean, also in like Palermo, you have, I can't remember what they're called again. Like all these names are escaping me, but they have something. It's like you could almost call it a cousin to falafel. It's a chickpea
yeah.
mash, and then they fry it up and make little patties out of it, and you can have it in a sandwich. And oh, it's one of my favorite things ever. But it definitely different than falafel, but it kind of related in an aspect, just because of that chickpea combination there, with the way it's mashed up
Mhm.
and everything, with
Oh my god,
herbs
I
and
miss
stuff.
Lebanese food. Ugh. That's one thing that can be annoying about living in Italy is when I mean, of course, I could just make it myself, but it would be nice. Actually, no, it would never be the same because no one's Lebanese food is as good as my mom's, so I might as well just make it myself using her recipe, and then I'll be happy.
Lebanese
But I
food
was gonna
also
say
is just
the
amazing. Like I'm a huge
oh,
fan.
me Me too. But, you know, no, because even in Canada, when I would go to Lebanese restaurants, it was never the same. I'm like, "No, my mom makes it
Mm.
better." So, what can I say? Um,
Oh gosh, that's the
oh
one
my
thing.
god.
Also, I struggled with in Italy is like to find Middle Eastern food can be a struggle. It can be a real struggle. Like you can
Yeah.
find like Turkish style kebab, but it's like an Italian variation with whatever. It's rarely
Yeah,
ever the
yeah.
in Alto Adige in the German part of Italy or the Austrian part. That's where I found like a really good Turkish style kebab. But otherwise, it's anyway. That's a different subject for a different day.
Yeah, totally different subject. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Okay. Let's talk about planning an international move.
Ooh.
How do you do such a thing? What is important? What are the types of things that you look for in another country? In a country that you wanna move to?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. It's it really depends on what you need. You have to really understand the lifestyle that you lead. Many times people will want to move abroad so that they can lead a different lifestyle, but no
Mhm.
matter where we go, we take ourselves with us and we're always going to have a similar level of comfort even if we push ourselves beyond that point. Going back and kind of finding that comfortable place will always be within a similar zone. Um, Again, even if that's slightly pushed, but what I look for, I need someplace that has good internet because I have to be able to work. Most of my work takes place online, even pre
Yeah.
2020. Um, and
I
so
know,
I
we're
need,
like the OG working from home types.
yeah,
Like
I working from home before it was cool.
exactly, hipsters. No, but for real,
No,
it is really important. I know because when I moved to this apartment, I had no internet for like
I
2
remember.
months.
I
Oh
remember.
my god. It was such a nightmare. It was such a nightmare. Anyway,
Yeah,
continue.
no, it's no, it's rough. I mean, so like that was for me like one of the huge things when I was here or before moving here because I didn't actually choose like this place to begin with, but I was very lucky that with this location where I am, because I'm now in the north of Portugal in a city called Braga, they have fantastic internet here. It's actually supposed to be one of the fastest locations in the country for like mobile data. But yeah, so I look for that. And then I also look for um, transportation, like what kind of local transportation is there? Because specifically in Europe, I really don't have an interest in having a car. Maybe one day I'll want to get a car or something, but I don't want to have to drive. And I set my life up to try to be able to walk everywhere or to be able to get a bus or a train. So that's the other thing that I look for. So even part of the reason why I had chosen Rovigo and why I had ended up there was because of the connections that it has all around the country. It's on the main high-speed
Mm,
rail line from Venice all the way down
you're
to
lucky.
Naples. So it was fantastic. Like I could be in Rome with one train at the Roma Termini in like 3 hours or less. It was fantastic to have that option. Unfortunately, I didn't get to use that option so much just because of the events of
Oh
the
my
past
gosh.
couple of years, but
Ah.
I did it twice, thankfully.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Because
you're
like
lucky
there was,
because yeah.
what were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say that you're lucky because I have to go I mean, when life was normal,
Right.
I would go to Rome pretty often to go to Canada and stuff, and it's fine. I can get there in 4.5 hours, but,
Oh
like,
wow. How many
it's not
times do you have to
that
change?
far. No, just once. It's just
Oh,
that,
okay.
there's the regional train, and then after it's, I think, Frecciabianca, so it's not the
Mm.
fastest one, and,
They're comfortable though.
yeah, they're comfortable,
Yeah,
but it just sucks that it's not slightly better connected, I guess,
I get
'cause
that.
it can't go super fast because there are, like, a bunch of stops that they have to make, and so they don't like, it doesn't even go to its full speed and stuff like that, so it could be better, but for me, actually, I'm the opposite. I love driving. I love
Oh,
driving. I mean, it would be nice to be able to walk, but I love going in the car, putting my music, singing in the car. Nobody has to hear me. No neighbors can complain, and so
that's
it's
what
great.
headphones are for.
Yeah, but then you can't sing. I want to sing in the car.
Ah, okay, good point, good
Um,
point. No, that's a
yeah, yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Honestly, I'm there with you. I will definitely agree that that's a huge point against being able to walk around or public transportation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, because I just got my Italian license like a month
Ah,
ago. So
congratulations.
thanks. It was really annoying.
I remember your
But
Instagram stories.
oh my God. What a pain in the butt. But but yeah, and so then when I got in the car again, I was like, damn, I forgot what it was like to sing in the car because it's been what, 5 years? Because I've been living in Italy. Guess when my 4-year living in Italy anniversary is in like a couple days on the 28th.
Really?
It's almost here, 4 years. And so
Wow.
for a year I lived in Australia and I didn't drive, so I was like, "Wow, 5 years." The joy of singing in the car again, it's amazing. But, no, I like walking, but public transportation is too annoying. I like being able to drive.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, for most people, that is a really important thing. So yeah, what about planning an international did we touch on that, or did
So
we
yeah,
talk more
like
about yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, there's plenty more that I can go into regarding that. I mean, I can rant on this for at no end. You have to also consider like how you're going to get to your new location. I mean, so in most cases, an international move will involve going on a plane. But if you're going in Europe, depending on where it is, you could potentially take a train and maybe just take a couple of suitcases with you, whatever you can
Mhm.
physically carry yourself. But you also have to consider if you're moving intercontinentally or internationally from one side of a continent to another to the other side of the continent, are you going to be using a mover? Are you going to take stuff with you? Because if you're going to move, say, from the US to Italy, there will be a consideration that you want to take into account, which could be the cost of buying new furniture. Granted, in Italy, you can often find like a furnished apartment, and when it's furnished, it's everything is furnished. Or when it's unfurnished, it's not even a kitchen sink sometimes, or more than
I
often than
find that
not.
so is it
Right.
you know what's interesting? There's so many things where people will ask me, "Oh, how much does this thing usually cost in Canada?" Or, how does this thing work?" And I'm like, "I don't even know because I moved away at 22 when I was still living at home. I didn't pay for anything because I lived with my family." So, I'm like, "I don't even know how much rent costs because I never had to pay for
Right.
rent, or I never paid attention to how much food costs because I was always with my family and, like, I didn't really buy stuff my so it's weird because I lived there till I was 22, but I feel like I know nothing about what it really means to live there by yourself because I was just existing in my parents' house.
I can get
Which
that.
is yeah, yeah, it's weird, it's weird. Um, but yeah, no, I'm just thinking, when I moved to Australia, I came with 1 suitcase. I don't even know how I did it because 'cause I'm a girl, and, like, that means that I have to have, like, a million unnecessary creams and hair products and things and, you know, clothes and whatever, you know? For guys, it's, like, slightly easier to condense clothing because for girls, we just have
Well,
generally,
not if
like
you're a big guy like me. Like I can't compress clothes. I mean, I'm not like huge. I'm not like grossly overweight, but
yeah.
like I'm not a small guy. So for me, like it's also I'm a half Brazilian, so that's part of the thing. There's just this Brazilian stereotype: can't travel lightly, but that's a different story. But like for me, the idea of being able to travel with like one carry on is like almost impossible. I've done it
No
once, and it was like
carry-on?
I can't do that. I can't.
I don't know how
No.
people do that. I have no self-control. I mean, I have self-control. To me, one big suitcase was self-control. Um But still, especially now, I just look around and I'm like, "What would I do with all this stuff?" Because my stuff from Canada, I just left it at my parents' house.
All right.
I didn't have to worry about but if that were to happen again, I don't even know where I would start. So,
Yeah.
hopefully I don't
No,
have to
and
move
that's a
anywhere
very
anytime
difficult thing to
soon.
do. Like that's I mean, with this last move that I did here to Portugal, I had to get rid of a lot of things and I couldn't move because there was a weight limit for the truck, not necessarily a size limit. So it was like it ended up being an absolute nightmare in the end. But I
Sorry,
mean,
for this
like
move, for the move to Portugal?
for the move to Portugal, yeah.
Oh,
Also,
okay,
even
okay.
prior moves as well. Because like I was saying before, like one of the things you have to consider, like if you're going to move intercontinentally, sometimes the cost of moving some of your things can be less than replacing them. Even like if you're going from like Seattle to like Rome, a partial container might actually be cheaper than going and purchasing new furniture. So that was the situation in this case. I had to figure out what are the pieces of furniture that I absolutely need, what are the things I can live without, what are the things that are easy to replace. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was one big thing. And then even like with trying to figure out getting a mover, that was a very difficult thing to find a reliable international mover that wants to deal with Italy is a nightmare. It is
Like, I mean, just the
absolutely
words
a
Italy
nightmare.
and reliable in the same sentence are generally hard to.
Well, I'll push back against that. Like I've found some very reliable people that I've worked with in Italy in various aspects, but when you're trying to move internationally from Italy, a
Yeah.
lot of companies don't want to deal with Italy, or if they do, the prices are very high because of taxes and road fees and all of those things. But in other countries in Europe, it can be a little bit different. But I contacted companies in Italy and they were like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that because it just costs too much. I was like, well, tell me how much it costs. Pass the price on to the customer.
Oh
Or
my gosh.
even in Portugal, I contacted some companies and they're like, yeah, no, we don't want to go to Italy.
Oh man. That's
Yeah,
so
just the
complicated.
complications.
How long did it take you from beginning your planning of moving to Portugal to the actual move? Like, how far in advance did you have to plan for that?
I found out very last second because it was some
Okay.
relatives of mine who were moving here. So I had to do it very quickly. It was really within the space
Uh,
of a couple of months, a few months, maybe 2 months or something. So I didn't have much of a choice with that. I would
yeah.
prefer to have like a lot longer time in advance to be able to really get packed and get everything figured out and figure out what's coming, what's going, and this thing and thatting. But it
Yeah.
like I've done moves in a shorter amount of time, even in a week.
Mm.
But it also depends on like again how much stuff you've got. I mean, I wanted to take like
Yeah.
some of my musical instruments with me, and so figuring out how to get those packed. I mean, thankfully I have
How
hard
many
cases for
instruments
most
do
of
you
my.
have, by the way? I see a nice little collection back there. I
This
see
is
a
only part of the
ukulele.
collection. Two
Oh, damn.
ukuleles, one acoustic bass, one acoustic guitar, one electric guitar. Uh, da, 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 Appalachian mountain dulcimer.
Oh, wait,
Uh,
what? What language was that in? Say that again.
Appalachian mountain dulcimer.
What on earth is that?
Hold on one second, I'll show it to you.
Dude, you have to bring it out.
This thing.
What
It's like
on
a lap
earth
instrument.
is that?
It's
That
it's
is,
like
oh my gosh.
here. I'll see if I can. It because it's just it's a very simple little instrument. Nothing so crazy.
What the heck?
I mean, so
That's
actually,
so
this is an exclusive because
pretty.
I've never played this online before.
Dude, just for me, I feel so loved.
Just for
You've
you, girl.
bestowed your talents upon this channel, and I am truly honored. That sounds so cool. But
Yeah, it's an
it
interesting.
doesn't sound as strange as it looks. Like it looks like such a something you've never seen before, but it sounds like
Right.
something you could easily hear on a record, which is, are
I mean,
those things
it's
expensive? Like what are,
relatively
like how
speaking, no,
easy are
but
they
they're
to
hard to
find?
find. They're not easy
Yeah.
to find. Like this, how I even found out about the instrument was a complete mistake. I was at the time living in Boise, Idaho in high school, and I had gone to a Christmas market, and there was this guy sitting there playing this weird handcrafted instrument. I was like, that is the coolest thing. I love the sound of it. And he had like harps and this and that and the other, and then he was
Oh my
playing this thing. And I'm
God.
like, that is too cool. I want, and he's like, here, come. And it's a really easy instrument to start to learn because there's only three sets of, three lines of strings, depending on how it's made. Because there's a couple of different ways. You can either have 3, 4, 5, or 6 actual strings. So in like one pair of string, a single and another single, and it'll just be a
Yeah.
drone on the last. So it's a lot easier than guitar, for example, and it's not a chromatic instrument. So it also like you can't really play anything out of key You're always going to be
Ah,
pretty much in tune. It's a fun little instrument. It's a great little
that's
thing.
so cool. It sounds really nice. Oh
I
my
love it.
gosh.
I love it.
That is so cool. My god, it was hard for me to even find a freaking ukulele.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, in the end, like I was really lucky in Italy because, especially in Rovigo, I had a music store locally that would order from Toman and Strumenti Musicali or whatever it was called, those two websites, and so he would make those orders regularly. So if I wanted an instrument, I could just say, "Hey, can you add this to your order?" And he would charge me the exact same price I would see online. I loved it.
oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been wanting, there's this ukulele that one of my friends has. I think it's a tenor? Or is that, no, it's a bear. I don't even know what it is, but it's like a really low ukulele. Is that what you have? What kind do you have?
Well, it depends. I have a tenor and a soprano, but I have
Mm,
them strung up differently. So I have like on my soprano, I have a high. What is it? What's the that one string? G. I have a high G, and then on the other
mhm.
one, I have a low G.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been kind of wanting one of those, but we'll see
They're fun.
eventually. First, I need to focus on getting a new laptop that doesn't have a broken screen before this one freaking dies. I'm very concerned that it's at the end of its life, but
Oh
we're
no.
holding on strong, my friends, because if it dies, I don't know how I'm gonna make videos. But it's all good, it's all good. Oh man. Um,
Well, these new
okay, what
Macs,
else?
these new Mac Minis that are around, they're not too bad, and they're not too expensive
No?
either. I mean, they're not like the best, but they're
Yeah.
pretty good for doing like a little something something if you need.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The thing is that I kinda need a laptop. And
I
what I
get
mean
you.
by need is that, like, sometimes I'm up here, sometimes I go downstairs, I watch YouTube videos while I'm sitting on my couch.
I get you.
Davide, ciao.
Hey, Davide,
Um,
wow.
but, yeah, I like to move around, you know, I mean, it would be nice to have both, but, like,
Yeah.
until I'm rich, which is, so we're waiting for
One day, one day.
but, uh but yeah, one day, please God, have mercy on my soul. So yeah, okay. What else do we wanna talk about? Do you feel like how much language since Davi is here, we'll talk about language stuff. How how
In his
necessary
honor.
yeah, in his honor, exactly. Um, how necessary is it to have a great level in a language to live there? Um, yeah,
Hmm. I think it depends on the country. I
yeah.
think in Italy to really get by, you need a pretty decent level. You need functional Italian to get from day to day.
Mhm.
Like for example, just comparing it to Portugal, just because it's really easy to do since I'm here now. In Italy, when you call up a company, press one for Italian. That's it, and that's the only option. Here,
Yeah.
it's press one for Portuguese, press two for English, and press three for Spanish.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so I can like if I want to call up the internet company, I can call in English. If I want to call the bank, I can call in English and get things taken care of. Whereas
Yeah.
if I were to call like my old internet company in Italy, it would be very difficult even if I went to like just the local store to speak to. I mean, of course it depends, like maybe you'll get lucky, but there are
Mhm.
sometimes even when you are contacting companies on the phone and they legally have to speak to you for certain interactions in Italian, like especially when
Yeah.
they're getting you to say like I agree or I am so and so for such and such reason and whatever. But then but it also depends on if you're in a city or if you're in a smaller town, whatever it is. But I think generally speaking, for Italy, you do need to have a pretty decent functional level, a very basic
Yeah.
level. But to come to a country like also in Italy, like for example, not everybody will come there or not everybody who's already there speaks English. You can find some people, some
Yeah.
younger people, but like you come to Portugal, for example, instead of me asking if somebody speaks English, they'll ask me, "Oh, do you speak English?"
Really?
If I'm yeah. I
Oh,
mean, like I
wow.
can get by with Portuguese. Like it's not great, but I can get by. But if they see I'm struggling, they say, "Oh, do you speak English?" And I say, "Yeah, fantastic."
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's really normal
god. I
here.
didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's
So
huge, huge
people
difference.
speak English a lot more there compared to
A lot
Italy.
more. Oh,
Oh,
significantly. Well, also
wow.
because in Italy, all of the television, pop culture, like you turn on the TV, you go to a movie, it's all Italian with subtitles.
Dubbed.
Yeah. Yeah. But in
Yeah.
Portugal, television is subtitled, not dubbed. It's
Yeah.
or even if you go to a movie, you'll go and you'll hear it in the original language. So that actually makes
Yeah.
a huge impact on the culture growing up, like having this exposure to pop culture in your language versus another language. So even if people don't speak it here, many people can understand maybe a basic little bit. And I've had so many experiences here where it's like, oh, I only speak a little. And then they're like perfectly fluent. That's kind of the joke in Portugal.
Oh
Like,
my
oh, no, I
gosh.
only speak a little. And then they just blow you out of the water.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
No, but
crazy. I had no idea. I don't really know that much about Portugal, to be honest. Like, I don't know
yeah,
any I
it's
mean,
a
now I know
hidden.
someone who lives there, but
So now you have to come visit.
I do have to come
Yeah.
visit. I
Yeah. No,
definitely do.
it's
Oh,
wonderful. I
man.
mean, like, look, I love Italy, and there's part of me that still wishes I could be there. But if I had to get thrown into another country, I'm grateful that it's Portugal because I always joked
Yeah.
around with friends like, oh, if I didn't live in Italy, I'd live in Portugal. Little
Yeah.
did I know one day I'd end up living here.
That's crazy. So you're
Yeah,
enjoying it so far?
I love it. I mean, I've always loved Portugal. Italy
Yeah.
was what was calling my heart and calling my soul, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful little place. It's kind of like not now people are, especially in the English speaking world, are starting to know about it more, but it's kind of like still this like little hidden gem about that or that people don't know. Like people know Spain, but they don't know about the
Yeah.
country next door. Or even some people think that Portugal is part of Brazil, or what part of Brazil is Portugal in, or like they
What
don't
the
have
heck?
that
Oh my
understand.
god.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that
Yeah, yeah.
like I've heard the weirdest things about like, oh, like what do they speak in Portugal? Huh, I wonder.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah,
No, I mean, Portugal is definitely a place I'd love to visit, although I really haven't seen any like, I've seen not a lot of Italy, but quite a few places in Italy, but apart from that, my god, I've seen nothing in Europe. Because I mean, this was supposed to be the time when I was gonna
right. That
travel.
was my plan too. Like that was my exact plan. And that's one of the reasons also why I moved to Rovigo because I had the Venice airport. I had, or
Oh my
both of the Venice
god.
airports available to me. I had the Bologna, or if I was like really feeling adventurous, I could go all the way to Rome or Milan for the airport. Like none of them would be all that tricky to get to. So like, I was planning all kinds of trips and different locations, and I had content planned. Like literally, my whole 2020 was flipped upside down.
Oh
I was
my
so
gosh.
mad.
Oh, that sucks so much. It sucks because for me, like, the moment I stopped being sick and, like, was able to functionally, like, do stuff, my body's like,
Right.
"Hey, I'm gonna work now," and the world is like, "I'm not," and I'm like, "Okay, great, great." Um, so Davide says that in Spain, they're usually not that great in English. I don't know
Yeah.
if people agree, I don't know much about it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I
No,
guess
I definitely agree. Like they're not the same. They're like on a similar level with Italy. We're not. Maybe Italy's a little better, but it depends on where you are. Like I have family in Madrid, and like I have a like in a brother-in-law out there, and so like he can get by with a little couple words here and there, or even like
yeah.
my siblings. Like I have one who speaks English, and then one who just doesn't. Well, now she does, but she like when I like if I'm going to Italy, I expect to speak in Italian. If I'm in Spain, I expect to have a lot of Spanish. In Portugal, it's mixed. I don't have that
Yeah.
same exception necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it just goes to show how important, you know, how much watching TV shows and movies can actually really help with learning a language.
Yeah.
Because most of the people that didn't really try, they just happened to have really good English. It's
Right.
because they watched a bunch of TV shows and stuff, and so
Played
it
video
really does make a
games
difference
like
because that's
uh,
part of the yeah, exactly, video games. and books and stuff, and I really think that is one of the main reasons why Italians generally have such a hard time. It doesn't help that the English teachers are Italians with strong Italian accents. That's definitely not helping.
Yeah.
But,
Well, this is
yeah,
also
it
a
really
thing
makes
in
a big
Italy
difference.
that I saw with English teachers or the companies that do private English lessons. They'll often favor somebody who's a non-native English speaker who doesn't speak the language well but speaks Italian perfectly over a native speaker. Whereas in other places I've seen it the other way around. I was
That's so
shocked by that.
weird.
Yeah. Like I
That's so
remember I was once
strange.
passed up for a job of teaching English for a native Russian speaker who could barely speak English but spoke Italian perfectly. Only because that person spoke Italian perfectly, they got the job. And that's not like the only time that's ever happened. I mean, I know plenty of other people
That's
who've had the exact same
wow.
experience, or maybe someone from a different nationality, but it
Wow.
happens.
Damn. Oh my god. That's insane. English teachers in Italy are awful. I agree with you, Jack Black. Most of the time, it's not great.
Yeah, it's
So what are you gonna
unfortunate.
do? That's why our channels are here, so you can learn.
Well, that's why I don't do languages.
Yeah, but you still speak in English. They could learn just by
True.
listening to you.
Oh no, I actually do have quite a
So,
few subscribers who do listen in because they're trying to improve their linguistic skills and they want to
yeah.
be able to learn. Like the subject matter that I talk about is of interest to them. So, two birds, one stone. That old whole
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I mean, I consider your accent really neutral.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good resource. Plus, you got that
Thank you.
nice radio voice and like the fancy
Ooh.
microphone. So just like, ooh, like it just sounds
Why? Thank you
wonderful.
kindly.
You're welcome, kindly. All right. What's your Portuguese journey like? I mean, you said that you learned it before, right? Like
I've
you
always
you
had
already had
like
some.
not always, but I've had a good portion of it under my belt for a while. I mean, like I've always had like friends who are Brazilian and like I've spent a little time in Portugal as well. So like I've picked it up
Mhm.
and learning Spanish, you kind of pick up bits and pieces. Like you can if you speak one Latin language, it kind of helps you with the others. And then the more that you learn, the more that they all help each other. So even like now, like my Portuguese isn't perfect, and sometimes I'll reach for a word in Italian, but they'll understand what I'm trying to say. Like the other day, like
Mhm.
when I was getting pizza, I'm like thinking like fungi. How do you say fungi? And the guy's like, oh, okay. And then he told me the word in Portuguese, but
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Portuguese
yeah,
it sounds
yeah.
completely different. Cogumelos. But
What the
also
heck?
like,
That reminds me of
yeah,
cocomero.
what's that?
It's another word for anguria, watermelon.
Ah, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think I can't remember if here they say cocomero. I say anguria. It depends where you are. I think in
Yeah.
different parts of Italy they use a different version of it, but yeah, it reminded me of that. Oh my
Well, I just
gosh.
say good old watermelon. That's good enough for me.
That
uh,
accent, dude, it destroyed me.
you're
It
welcome.
destroyed me. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. So, but why did he understand though if it's so different from the Portuguese word?
Well, like fungus, I think is kind of where it gets
Oh.
close. I think I'm not sure. I mean, also it's an Italian restaurant, but the thing is, I think
Oh,
it's
okay,
because like
okay.
fungal or something like that, making
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
connection there. So I mean, there are those times where like you can say something in Italian and it's just not that far off, or vice versa. Like, why
Yeah.
can't I think of a good example off the top of my head? But
'Cause
like,
you're on the spot, dude.
yeah, exactly.
That's what
Oh,
happens.
or actually, like ma in Italian.
Yeah.
In Portuguese, it's maj or mas, depending on what part of the world you're in. In
Yeah.
Portugal, it's maj, but in Brazil, it's mas.
Yeah.
So like for me, that helped having like Brazilian friends, Portuguese friends, and again like having some Italian and some Spanish under my belt, and one helping the other.
Yeah. By the way, everyone loves your voice. Look at this. Look at this
Thank you.
love. Look at all this.
Aw.
Oh, they understand everything you say. Isn't that great? Marco. Ciao. Marco is one of my actually Scott is also one of my students, but Marco is
Ah.
one of my students. and he's great. Thank you, Marco, for being amazing. But yeah, so well, I'm glad that things are going well in Portugal.
Thank you.
Um,
Me too.
and dude, I hope we can, you know, actually meet each other in person.
Yeah, it's about time after all these years, literally years. I mean, okay, so either you're going to have to come out here, or the next time I'm out there, you're going to have to make your way out to where I am. It's one or the other. No options here.
Either way, I have to do all the hard work, is what you're saying.
No. Because if I'm coming to Italy, I'm the one that's traveling far.
True.
It's around the corner for you.
Yeah, or we could both meet in Rome and see Elisa and finally do that thing the collaboration we were supposed to
Yeah.
do. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Wow. That is crazy to think about, like where we all were like 4 years ago, points in our life, and getting things figured out. Because we got to Italy roughly at the same time, like almost exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let's before we end, do you have another like 5 minutes?
Yeah, I've got time for a while, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Let's talk about being on YouTube. Let's talk about how things have changed for you since we met. You know, I mean, I had basically just started my channel. I had a couple of videos go on the homepage, and I was really excited. And then I guess you and Elisa saw my videos partially because of that. And yeah,
I think actually I found you because of my mother. I think that's partially how I found you. No, because she was looking up at the time videos learning Italian, and your video pronouncing ours came up, and she's like, "Oh, my God. you have to check out this one video," and I was like, "Oh, this is really good," because that was what made it click for her.
That video is almost at 1 million views.
No, I'm not surprised. You deserve it. That was like some really great information in there.
That was like my freaking first video, and I'm like, oh,
that's
I'm
awesome.
so proud of Elisa 3 years ago.
But that's the thing with YouTube. It's like you're seeing your children kind of grow up and like become this thing, and
just it's weird. It's weird looking even at no, it was 4 years ago, I guess, but it's weird looking back at old videos. I'm like, wow, I really sucked at making videos. Like, wow, I'm so shy. Like I'm not even a shy person, but you could tell that I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, I think my technique was really good, but if I had
I think your level of comfort, I mean, for all of us, I'm not saying you specifically, but the level of comfort on camera changes over time. To speak to a camera is not like a natural, normal thing.
Yeah, it's weird. It's something that you really have to train. And I think YouTube has given me so many skills in the sense that speaking to a camera, more comfortable speaking in front of like lots of people, you know, being a bit more concise with my thoughts, trying to like learning to edit videos.
Well, also, I mean, it's a fantastic lesson in basic concepts of marketing, as well as SEO, and just trying to make an impact online. Like what you learn on YouTube can have a major effect, and you can apply those same lessons to even just an audio podcast, a website, blogging. If you're doing YouTube right and the way that it's supposed to be done, it helps with all of the overall skill set with any of those other topics. I mean, that's a large part of what I do with my clients, is like some of the lessons that I've learned over the past, how long is YouTube? Because I've been on YouTube since like the very beginning. I haven't been uploading the whole time, but I've always been in the background, like studying it. And like I think within the first year that it was out.
Oh my God. I used to upload like really embarrassing singing videos.
Really?
Oh my God.
Do they still exist?
No, I deleted them. Thank God. Especially because I can't even access that account anymore. I tried, and stupid friggin' Microsoft is like, oh, we don't think you own your account. So now I can't
have
get
that with
into
one
that
of my
account.
old Hotmail accounts. It's ridiculous.
Thank God I deleted them. I mean, really what I wish I did is I wish I put them on private, because I would have loved to go back and look at them and see my progress, because we'll just say that progress was definitely made. But my God. Yeah, I was like 16 or something, or
Oh, wow.
and I would just upload these like really bad cover videos. cover songs.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but I stopped, you know, because yeah.
Life.
But then eventually I don't know, I just always felt this like pull towards it, that it just
Mm.
felt kind of right for me. And I'm really glad that I listened to that because it does feel it's definitely difficult, but it definitely feels right to me to be doing this. It's really something that I enjoy.
Yeah, YouTube is,
So
I
yeah.
mean, there's a really wonderful side to YouTube. There's a very dark side to YouTube, and you just have to
Oh
make
man.
it work for yourself. You just have to try to enjoy it to the best of your ability. I mean, there can be absolutely fantastic moments that like really just make your heart sing. And I mean, the connections with some of the people that I've made connections with over the years. I mean, the stories that people have sent me talking about like how some of my content has literally changed their life or
I
like
know.
influenced things that are going on. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Like some of the power of words or these videos that people are looking for information. I mean, even saying like, oh, I want to go check out this place because you said XYZ about it, or oh, I'm not going to do
Yeah.
that or this. So like it also shows you the level of responsibility in a way that you have to be
Yeah.
take care with what you say, and that you can't just be saying things willy-nilly. I mean, not that I personally did that anyway or have done that, but I know plenty of accounts on YouTube where they will just start talking out of their rear end and just
Yeah,
let
yeah,
it
yeah.
happen.
Oh my god. No, I'm always terrified of saying something that's wrong.
Mm.
But what was I gonna say? No, my train of thought vanished. What was
It's
I gonna
getting
say?
late. It's at the end of the day.
Oh my god. Why am I like this? I had this whole, like, amazing train of thought, and I was like, "Okay, I need to focus on what you're saying, because like, I need to listen to you, but also I need to not forget what I'm saying." So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna focus on you," and then I freaking forgot. Yes, I was
This
saying
is the
something
most
about imposter
difficult
syndrome,
thing though
but
about being
I
doing any type of
remembered.
presentation. Go ahead, go. Let's not lose this thought.
Okay. So, I was just gonna say that, there's this one example of a guy who, on my How to Roll Your R's video commented he was South African, and
Oh, I
he
remember this
had
story.
oh, do you? Because I think I posted on
Yeah,
my
yeah.
story a few years ago, and he had I can't remember if it was one or multiple R's in his first name and his last name, and he's like, "My whole life," if you're watching, I doubt it, but if you're watching, I still remember this, you're awesome. But he's like, I was never able to pronounce my own name my whole life." Like, can you imagine how annoying that would
That's,
be to not be
I
able
mean,
to
that must
pronounce the sounds
hurt.
in your own name, and people make fun of you all the time? And then
Yeah.
he's like, "With your video, I learned to do it, and now you, like, it took me like 40 years to be able to do it, and now I can do it." I was like,
Oh, that's
I have
awesome.
I am worthy. My existence has meaning now.
No, but that's the thing. Like at the end of
Oh
the
my
day, the
god.
content that we make, I think really what helps set a lot of content creators apart is not that they're going for the mass out there. They're going for the one person to make that one person's life a little bit different. And that's good enough. When you can hit
Yeah.
that point and be confident in that and not try to go for the huge numbers and not try to go for the, because this is, I mean, also part of my mentality towards social media in general. I'd rather have a hyper focused audience that is smaller than a massive audience that is kind of all over the place and is going to be there one day and disappear the next.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, but beyond that, beyond any, I mean, my work and what I do and thinking about things in that aspect, it's amazing to know that you've made a difference in someone's life, that you've made something that you've, like in your case, you connected the dots to allow this person to pronounce their own name. In my situation,
Yeah.
like I've had people saying, because of your content, I've found out about Italian citizenship. And because of doing the research into that, I found long lost family members that I didn't know exist. This, that, and the like, I mean, I've got endless stories that almost like mirror that in 50 different ways. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. Like I'm so grateful that I've been able to have that kind of, I hate to use the word, impact on people's lives. Just it's
It's true
something
though. I mean,
else.
that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's crazy. So it's really
It's
great. I'm
wonderful.
really happy that there are people who choose to spend their time watching my videos, because it
Right.
feels like I'm gonna hang out with Elisa today. Let's put on like that's what it feels like to me. Because for me, when I would watch other people, and when I do watch other people on YouTube, you know, sometimes you just feel an emotional connection, sort of.
Yeah.
Like, you feel like they could be your friend if you knew each other
Yeah.
in real life, and so having their video on kind of feels like you're hanging out with them. And so lots of people could be a kind of comfort to you.
Right.
And, um, I love people, so I'm like, what if I could do the same thing? That's interesting." And so that's definitely part of it. I mean, one big part of it is human connection. And I
Yeah.
think it's magical, and I've, like, made some awesome friends, like
And especially in the
you
past
and
2 years.
Davide
Oh,
and
yeah, of course.
Sonia and it's great. So,
No, it's been fantastic that we were able to connect in this way, and that we've had this friendship for years, and like
yeah.
we're getting to do this thing that, like, every once in a while, even if we're not in contact all the time, it's like, hey, what's up? Like, hey, oh, that's cool. I love that post, or this or that or the other. Like, there's this little bit of something there that continues on, and I mean, even just the ability to connect, like you were talking about, especially in the past 2 years, that has been very greatly affected. And so platforms like YouTube allow for people to make those connections in a different way, granted. I mean, I'll even say Clubhouse, for example, like social audio. That's been, for me personally, a huge thing, like especially during how do I say this? The times when we couldn't go out
The
in
dark
Italy,
age.
the
The
dark age,
dark
when we had
age.
to remain inside for a long time. That's kind of what got me through that period, was social audio. I mean, especially Clubhouse. It was a way of connecting with people from all around the world, and that's what YouTube is. It's available not everywhere, but in a good portion of the countries out there.
Most places.
I remember being in Turkey years ago, and I said, this website is blocked in this country due to reasons for whatever from the government. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? This was the first time I'd ever heard about governments doing that. And then I think years later they changed that. Anyway, it's going off on a
I mean,
tangent.
you know how many times I would try to watch some American thing and it's like, this is not
Oh,
available in Canada. I'm like,
yeah.
no. Very sad.
Yeah. Oh, but even this is one thing about Italy, or about Portugal, I will say. The television here, it's like watching American TV. I mean, I haven't had a television in, like, really since I left America, maybe like 13 years, maybe 10 years and whatever.
Yeah.
But here I turn on, I've got Discovery in English, History in English,
Oh,
TLC in
really?
English. It's crazy. It's like, I forgot
Dude.
I missed these things. I mean, I'm not a big TV watcher in general, but like, okay, I could lose a few brain cells here. I'd be okay with that.
Oh my gosh. I haven't, like, watched TV. I mean, I watch TV shows, through Netflix and whatever, but
Yeah.
actually watch TV, I have not done in years. So, Davide apparently wants us to all meet up. I
I
mean,
agree.
I'm not
I
saying
agree.
no, if you know what I mean. I mean, we can make that happen.
Well, I'll just say a flat out, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yes, let's do it. I mean, except it
Next
won't
time
be
in
called Lingo
Italy.
Tubers, maybe. But yeah, we can call it Expat Tubers, except David is not an expat, so I don't know what we're gonna call it. We're gonna who knows?
Italo tubers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Scott agrees. Scott wants us to make videos together.
I think it's a
Although
fantastic
Elandril
idea.
is not very impressed because he knows he'll have to help with subtitles and that they're a nightmare when there's more than one person in the video and we're talking over each other. Yeah, it's not fun. So,
Yeah, I hate doing subtitles. I've done them before
oh
and
my
it's the
god.
worst.
The
Oh,
thing is I have
Davide is
to
going to be
because
in Portugal. Sorry, what were you saying? I
really?
just was ready.
Oh my god.
Davide, are you
No,
coming anywhere near Braga? Because if you are, let me know and let's meet up. Or if you're going to be in Porto.
dude, I'm gonna be so jealous if you guys meet before I do.
I know. I was just about to say, am I going to meet Davide before I meet?
That's not fair. Oh my
Time to get
gosh.
a
That would be so
Ryanair
cool
ticket.
though. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. But no, I was saying with subtitles, I have to do them because
Yeah.
I have both audiences. So, if I do an English video and I mean, I don't have to, but I mean, 50% of the people who watch my videos use subtitles. So,
I see.
like I look at the analytics and at least the Italian subtitles, it's like 50% of the people who watched use them and maybe 20% use the English one. So I usually depends on the
Uh-huh.
video, but usually I try to have it in both languages. If it's not let's say if I'm explaining pronunciation, maybe I won't bother because it doesn't make sense. Or I don't know, it depends. But yeah, it's definitely an annoying thing, but I know that it's useful for people, so
Mhm.
we do our best to get them out, and sometimes that delays the posting of my videos and so on and so forth. But
You got to do
yeah.
what you got to do. It's no, I totally get it. I mean, also here, like also talking from just a content creation standpoint, because my brain always works in that way. Having those
Yeah.
subtitles there, like those SRT files or whatever that you're putting in, or even if you're just typing it into the platform, it
Yeah.
helps. It helps
Mhm.
with the rankings, and it helps with giving YouTube and Google all of that metadata that they're wanting.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
And it helps you to improve learning languages. Because when I had to do subtitles myself, I swear to God, when I would make English videos and I'd have to do Italian subtitles, I swear that
Oh,
helped me so much.
I can
It's really
imagine
hard.
trying to
Yeah. So
like. No, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. No, I was gonna say to anyone who isn't in my Telegram group already, if you want to join my Telegram group and you feel like helping out either with Italian subtitles or English subtitles because you feel like working on your translation skills, I mean, join my Telegram
Ooh.
group. It's in the description, just saying. Um, but yeah, yeah. So you were
No,
saying?
I mean it's an interesting point though to be able to say what you say, to speak the way you speak naturally, but to figure out how you can do that in other languages. Because that's something like I haven't been able to properly get in other languages. Like English is the only language I feel perfectly comfortable in. I don't feel
Yeah,
properly myself in any other languages, but there are other parts of my personality that kind of get highlighted in different
yeah,
languages. Like if I'm speaking Portuguese with Brazilians, then it's like generally speaking a lot more fun loving, laid back, less serious.
yeah,
But if it's Portuguese with a European accent, then it's kind of like a little bit more serious, day to day kind of stuff. And if it's
yeah.
Italian, it's like there's different
And if it's
parts of your
English,
personality.
you're in
If
full
it's English,
business mode.
I am here doing my thing that I do on with the mic and the camera and the this and that. It depends. It really depends. But it's
Oh my
just one of those things
God.
for me that ends up happening. Not that it's like I try to avoid it, but
Yeah.
I
No, but it's
can't
a
help it.
natural part of speaking different languages. It's the same
Yeah.
thing for me as well. I'm generally a bit more spontaneous when I speak in Italian.
Ah,
Um, And people always say I mean, my voice changes, apart from the fact that my voice
yeah.
changes, but, um, I mean, generally, the way my face is I cannot stop smiling because 'cause I'm just my face is default in a smile almost all the time, even if I'm angry sometimes. Um, but in Italian, it's even more so. Like,
I get you.
I don't know, I'm just, like, super
So you feel like
happy all the time,
you
so
feel like you come more alive in Italian.
kind of, even though, of course, I'm more comfortable in English. But in English, I don't know. I'm a bit more structured in my thoughts, I'd say. I'm a bit more yeah, I would say structured. Things
In
are more
English.
yeah, whereas in
Uh,
Italian, I'm, like, all over the place, you know? More
yeah, I guess it
spontaneous.
makes
Things are
sense.
more
Well,
random.
no, I think that makes sense in a way. Like I can see
Yeah.
how that can be. I mean, again, like there's those different parts of your personality that can get highlighted. Also, because in different languages we can express ourselves differently because there are certain things that you
Yeah.
can say in Italian that you can't say in English, and the other way around as well. Like it's
Yeah.
that ends up lending itself to the ability to allow yourself to be who you are, or what part of yourself gets highlighted a little bit more.
Yeah. It's crazy, but damn, it's an adventure.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it's great. So yeah, YouTube is I wanna know, going back to the YouTube topic, what is your favorite and least favorite thing about doing YouTube? I mean, I know we talked about, like, the stories,
Yeah.
but I mean, apart from that.
No, I mean, well, the whole other than getting stalked and assaulted thing, like that was probably like the low point. But
Yeah.
no, but like
What?
actually grinding on YouTube, like having to produce, that's like not my favorite thing. I like getting there, recording and setting up and coming up with the ideas, but the editing, even though it's what I do professionally, but probably it's because I do it professionally. That is not my favorite thing to do in my off time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's probably like my least favorite thing, and even I guess some of the back end stuff. It's basically anything that has to do with my work is not my favorite part to do.
Yeah.
But
I
whatever.
mean, it's the same thing for me pretty much. Editing, it depends. If it's a fun video, it
Mhm.
sucks because the videos that I have the most fun making are the videos nobody watches. So the
Right.
vlogs are really fun because I can be creative.
Yeah.
And the video I did on my, by the way, guys, check out my video on my Australian nightmare Australian roommate. That was a really fun video to make. And so it sucks because whenever I put the most effort into a video, because it's like a more
Mhm.
fun video, people generally don't watch it as much as some of my other
Right.
stuff, which is really frustrating. But yeah, editing, unless it's, as I said, one of those fun videos, is kind of annoying. It as I said, it depends. I go through phases, but generally it's the part where I'm like, ugh. Whereas recording is fun,
Yeah.
seeing people's comments is fun, responding to comments is fun. Um, yeah,
You
but
know,
editing.
this actually reminds me of the part of the first conversation we actually ever had. How we got, now I'm remembering. It was
Mm,
on your video, the first video I commented on of yours. You were mentioning about you were going to do something. You wanted to start doing things different. You wanted to start uploading more kinds of content because you want to have more fun with it. I forget exactly how
yeah.
you phrased it. And I put something in the comments there about I completely understood what you were saying because when we get on YouTube, this is the other thing that can be tricky with being a content creator, especially on this platform, is that we get boxed into a certain area, like wherever that
Yeah.
thing is that we did that one time that people like, we kind of have to keep doing that over and over again. And so, I mean,
Yeah.
if we don't stick with that, that can end up being a bit tricky. That was the first,
Mhm.
because we spoke about it earlier. It just reminded me when you were talking about this. That was when we
Yeah.
actually first started speaking.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you kind of have to do the same thing,
Yeah,
but not the exact same thing, because then people get bored. So it has to be basically the same, but slightly different.
you have to keep changing it up, and
Yeah. So it's
but
interesting.
that
It's
that
really
also
hard.
makes it interesting.
It does, but it's very unpredictable. And
Hmm.
yeah, so I guess I've always just wanted to make the type of content that I like to watch. And it sucks because I do like making videos in both languages. I don't want to just have to make videos in Italian, but it just turned out that 80% of my audience is Italian, but they're Italians who want to hear me speak in Italian, which is fine, but it depends on the video. I mean, I'm sorry, but I can't make a video on my nightmare Australian roommate in Italian because it happened in English and I need to mimic her voice in English? So, um, oh, that Australian roommate video was encouraging as someone who's going to move to Australia soon. Good luck. Oh my god. So, Davide also says that your video
Uh,
quality is unbelievable, so good for
Thank you,
you.
man. Much appreciated.
Oh my god. So, it's definitely interesting, but overall, it's fun. It's sometimes hard to figure out what to do,
Hmm.
figure out what the right choice is, and figure out what's gonna work, figure out how to actually do it in a way where you can survive, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But, dude, doing YouTube but being poor is so much better than like, what I was supposed to do, which is stay in Canada and, like, be a lawyer, and, like, screw that. So, I'm happy.
There honestly are some days that I was like, I wish I went to law school. I wish I had just finished it, or medical school, whatever it was. Like, because I was on
Yeah.
a track where I could have gone in either direction. I was just like, man, I
Yeah.
could have, should have, would have.
No, I wouldn't. Not for me. Just
Yeah.
because
No.
I'm very creative.
Mm.
Like, you know,
That's
I
important to
mean,
have an outlet.
down to the personality test, it's like openness, it's like I'm like 90th percentile creative or something. So, being a lawyer doesn't exactly fit the best with that. Like, it's something that I could have potentially done. I think I could have been good at it, but I don't think that it's something that I would have particularly enjoyed. And
Hmm.
so, you know, I'd rather have the more difficult road, but the one that, because I'm freaking happy every day, man. Like,
Yeah, you know, honestly, even though I did say there are some days when I think maybe I should have gone or should have this, and like there are the other times where it's like I'm so grateful that I get to have some flexibility with my schedule. Like for example, out of probably what can often be my busiest time of my workday, like right now, I can take
Yeah.
that time. I just have to do it another time. Or like what I kind of was able to do today, like I got most of today's work done last week, so I kind of could have today's semi off. But like if you're working like a nine
I
to
ruined your
five,
day off. I'm so sorry.
no, this for me was part of why I
I'm
decided
joking.
to do this. No, no, it was part of why I wanted the day off was because I was like, oh, I'm going to do this, so I may as well just enjoy the rest of the day anyway.
Oh
But I
my
mean,
god.
and there are a lot of people that think like, oh man, I can't and this and that. But it's like you can, but you have to give some things up. You have to be willing to take some chances in life that may leave you in certain uncomfortable positions at times. But when you start getting into a rhythm, then you can start to figure out how it's possible. I'm not saying that I'm a wealthy individual. I'm just saying that I'm all right in life. I
Yeah.
find that I don't need to live above a certain level. I can just chill out and not chill out that I'm like, because I work a lot. Like I do work a crazy amount of
Yeah,
hours,
yeah,
but
yeah.
eh, yeah,
Speaking of not being wealthy, if anyone would like to join out, we both have Patreon, by the way. So if
true.
anyone would like to join our Patreons to
What a time to bring
support
it
our
up.
content, well, you can just go in the description. In the description of this video, you can join my Patreon, and you can go. Rafi's channel is also linked in the description, so you can go on his
Thank
channel
you.
and join his Patreon because, dude, guys, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and your support is very much appreciated. There's no pressure. I'm just being stupid, but like for real though, if you want to. But like also, there's
No
no
pressure,
pressure.
but
But if you
pressure.
want to. Oh my gosh.
My cheeks are hurting. I've
Anyway,
been laughing this whole time. We've been having a great time.
we are having a great time. I know. Look,
Yeah.
look at these like red little painful cheeks from too much smiling.
Like my cheeks are actually sore right now.
I know, me too. Oh my god. It's actually a real problem for me because as I said, by default, this is actually a problem when it comes to acting because I was taking an acting class back when I was with an agency in Canada, and they were like, "You're supposed to be angry. Stop smiling." I'm like, "I'm smiling." They're like, "Yeah, you're smiling." I'm like, "Shit." And then I start paying attention to it, and I mean, I said this a couple of minutes ago, but I really am always smiling, and I have to consciously make myself stop. It's a problem. So,
I have the
so
opposite problem. I have like resting bi whatever YouTube. I'll try to avoid those words, but I've got the resting
resting
face.
unpleasant individual face.
Yeah, like I've had people come up to me like, "Are you okay, man? Like, what's going on? Like, tell me, like, what's going on? Like, are you like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? What the hell? Like, what are you
Oh
getting this
my
from?"
god, that's so funny. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just the way my face is.
So
So,
pleasant and pretty.
oh. No, but for real, the cheeks hurting thing is
Yeah,
very very common. Oh
the
my
struggle
gosh.
is
But yeah,
real.
the struggle is indeed real. This was really fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
Thank you
enjoying
so much
for
for
inviting me
this.
on here. It's been
Of
fantastic.
course. We can do it again in the future
Okay, you
if
tell
you're
me
up for
when.
that.
Yeah.
And guys, I hope you guys are all having a wonderful evening. Two follow channels in one. Why, thank you for
Ah.
following us. Yay. Day off as a YouTuber? What is this magic? I mean,
It's because I'm not a YouTuber.
oh my gosh.
Shocking.
He has a real job. I'm just
Eh.
a I'm just a
Honestly, if I could do YouTube full time, I would. But
oh my god. All right. So thank you guys so much for listening. You know, Scott, I swear that I did another hour just for you, just because you asked so kindly. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. For anyone who's Italian and learning English, I hope that listening to this was beneficial for you. I hope that it was useful. Everyone, please go subscribe to Rafael. He's amazing, and he talks about all sorts of topics about living abroad and all sorts of things. Even if you're not necessarily looking for those topics that he's talking about, he's just got that radio voice. You gotta subscribe to him for the radio voice, guys. So I strongly encourage you to go to his channel. And yeah, and that's it. So I'll see you guys very soon. Okay. Thanks
Later,
for watching.
everybody.
Bye.
See ya.